Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is a blue collar wine show where we try to make you feel comfortable about your palate and take all that snob crap out of wine. You know, it's just grape juice. For this week, I'm going to focus on Merlot. It's one of those grapes that is very underrated. We all know about the movie Sideways, how they slam Merlot. Well, Merlot took a huge hit because of that movie, and it hasn't really recovered. I see sputterings of interest in Merlot, but for some reason, people just lost interest in Merlot. It was a big variety back in the 80s and early 90s. I mean, it was big. And then all of a sudden, it just kind of died off, and a big part of that was that movie Sideways. Well, we shouldn't let Hollywood tell us what to do. Certainly we shouldn't believe everything they say, because at the end of that movie, as you all know, or maybe you don't know, that brown paper bag wine he was drinking was a Cheval Blanc, which is predominantly Merlot. So there was a lot of irony in that, and I think it was lost on a lot of people. But anyway, don't let Hollywood tell you what to like. Merlot is wonderful. I know a lot of folks out there that consider themselves connoisseurs lean towards Cabernet Sauvignon, love Cab, but don't overlook Merlot. In blind tastings, a lot of times, people have trouble telling the difference between a Merlot and a Cab. They really do. It can be hard. Merlot has structure. They can be big. They can be lean. They can be a lot of things that Cabs are. They tend to have less tannins in Cab. And, you know, that's probably the biggest difference. But sometimes it's really hard to tell the two apart. And don't let anybody tell you that it's easy, because it's not. I'm focusing today on Washington Merlot, because I think some of the best Merlot in the world comes from France, Washington State, and Italy. Those are my three favorite spots for Merlot. And hopefully, as the week progresses, I'll be able to get my hands on some Italian Merlot, because that Italian Merlot is fantastic. It really is. Let's get started right off. We're going to start off with For a Song Merlot, Columbia Valley, Washington. Let's give the wine a little rinse. By the way, Merlot means blackbird. Nice little fun fact. I forgot to look up what language that came from. More than likely French. I don't know. This is For a Song. The For a Song label is owned by Venom Distributing out of Seattle. They bought all the wine from a winery that went out of business, and then they started the For a Song label. This is called the Score Merlot. It is 90% Merlot, 5%, let's see, 7% Syrah, 3% Petit Verdot. And it rolls in at $12. Let's see what we get on the nose. So I get chocolate, currants, big time. Actually, I like that. Little tobacco, just a tiny hit of a little stinky character on the back end. And I don't mind that at all. We should never let that bother us when we're drinking wine. I forgot my tablecloth. I was going to put one on today. Sorry guys, I'm getting a lot of input on the noisiness of my bar. I'll try and tone it down. So I was going to throw a tablecloth over it. I'll do that on the next episode. Sorry. I do listen. I just, for some reason, forgot about that tablecloth this time. So I get a little blackberry. Definitely a chocolate tone underneath. Currants, almost like a cocoa powder element. Really like the nose on this. Let's see what we get on the palate. Good acidity. Nice spiciness on the backside. That chocolate comes through, especially on the mid palate. I'm getting like a hit of like chocolate and cocoa dust. A lot of currants. There's a little bright, like a blackberry, a bright blackberry element to this wine. Nice structure, like I said. A little bit of leather on the backside of this. I'm getting a really nice flow across the palate. A little tiny bit of chalky, grippy tannins on the finish. You know, I've had for a song wines. You know, the idea is to get a really good wine for a song. I'm sure you guys caught that already. Wearing the yellow shirt, big mistake when you're tasting. Got to be real careful not to splash on it. Well, this has good structure, really good flavors, dark. It has the currants, the blackberries, good acidity, nice chalky tannins on the finish, that little chocolate hit on the mid palate. Great bottle of wine, $12. I'm going to give this one a B. I think it's a great bottle of wine. This is a 2011. I think I forgot to mention that. 2011 Beresan Cab, Columbia Valley. Great bottle of wine. I would look it up. I would look for that one. For $12? Are you serious? Let's move on. Chatter Creek, Merlot, 2010. Yakima Valley, Washington. This one rolls in at $22. See the label. We just had that interview I did with Gordy Rawson from Chatter Creek. That's still one of my favorite episodes I've done so far. We didn't taste his Merlot, however, and now we are going to do that. By the way, nice shout out to the Seattle Seahawks. They are on to the NFC Championship game against the 49ers. They handled the New Orleans Saints pretty good. It's all about defense in that game, baby. I'm just hoping Seattle's offense can get out of the rut they're in. They're in a little bit of a rut. I think they can do it. I'm looking forward to the game. It is going to be a battle of the Titans. Let me tell you, both their defenses are amazing. So this is Merlot from Chatter Creek Winery, $22. Let's see what we get on the nose. Now I get a little green bell pepper asparagus element, which is not unusual for a Merlot. They tend to have those things. Excuse me just a minute. I am going to grab a little pad to put my glass on so it doesn't make so much noise. There's definitely tobacco element in there. I get currants. I also get a little bit of chocolate on the nose on this one. Very perfumey. I love the nose on this. Both of these wines, actually, both of them, very nice bouquet, very nice nose. I get like a little bit of a mintiness on the back end, just barely. A little licorice. There's a lot going on here. Let's see what it does in the mouth. Very polished on the palate. Nice and round, good structure again. I get that tiny bit of chocolate on the back end. A lot of currants. This has your typical Gordy Rawson, I always call it, how do you get this meat marinade thing going on with your wines? All his wines seem to show that. It's like his Gordy Rawson, meat marinade sort of thing. It's there. It's an interesting flavor profile. Excuse me, I'm filming. I got company. I get a lot of tobacco, little bit of herbaceousness on the backside. The tannins are definitely grippy on the back end. This has nice flow across the palate. It's got a really good, nice spiciness on the back end. It really is nice. It really lingers for quite a while. A little white pepper kind of spiciness thing going on. I like it a lot. 22 bucks. Oh man, I gotta just take one more little hit of this. I think I dumped it out too quick. There's a lot of complexity to this wine. It's got really nice, like I said, really nice tobacco currant thing going on. Little underlying cherries, like dark cherries. And that spice hits you on the backside. The more this opens up, I'm sure the more it'll develop those flavors. I'm really liking this wine. I'm going to give this one a B+. I think it's a nice effort. Good example of what you get with Washington Merlot. Let's move on. Now we have the, I should probably rinse that out. That was pretty spicy. I don't think it'd be fair if those spices added to this next one. Okay, now we have the Beresan Merlot, Columbia Valley. I thought this was an interesting story. It comes from two different vineyards. It comes from the Walliser Vineyard out of southern part of Walla Walla. 65% comes from that vineyard, and then 35% comes from Candy Mountain Vineyard, which is just south of, or just right next to Red Mountain. So it's Columbia Valley because it comes from two different parts of the Columbia Valley appellation. And this is 100% Merlot. 100%, nothing added. Let's see what we get on the nose. This is a really deep nose. I mean, this is a really, like, you can tell there's a bunch of stuff going on. I get tobacco, I get currants, I smell like a spice box element. Definitely get some crushed rock going on. I get a little kind of perfumey, like violets and rose petals. Very intriguing on the nose. A little black licorice. I'm loving it. Let's see what we get on palate. Black cherries, currants, good structure. Again, this one is a little plusher on the palate, but hardly what I'd call anywhere close to a fruit bomb. It just get a little bit more polished, plusher fruit. I think this one rolls in at 25 bucks. I'm not hitting my checks today for some reason. Do this, do that, do that. Sorry about that. Yeah, nice structure, good flow across the palate, very seamless, and at the very end, you get all these dark fruits, a little bit of tobacco, and then there's this minerality, like crushed rock, sort of lingering on the back end, which is something I remember about Beresan wines. They get a lot of that minerality to them. But yeah, I mean, this baby has got some serious structure on it. You even get a little chocolate hit on the mid palate. Like I said, it's really nice and rounded and polished, and at the same time you get that minerality, that tobacco leaf, all those things come together. I know it's 26 bucks. That's a good value for this wine. I mean, you're getting a lot of wine for 26 bucks. All three of these show fantastic. I mean, obviously, I think the Score Merlot from Beresan, it over delivers for 12 bucks. I think the Cheddar Creek is fantastic. It has that signature Gordy Rawson flavor profile to it with that nice spicy thing on the back end. And then there's a Beresan, which is bigger, got bigger shoulders, but at the same time has a polished, very delicious factor with a nice minerality on the finish. You could lay down the Beresan 10 years. I wouldn't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Now, and seriously, you could put this Beresan in a lineup with cabs. I really think you'd be hard pressed to pin it as a Merlot. Just started watching Solemn last night. I got it on Netflix. I didn't finish it all. Man, some serious stuff these guys do to become master sommeliers. Incredible what they go through. It was kind of inspiring as far as knowledge and learning about wines and all the things there are to learn about wines. Pretty cool. Liked it. Maybe you can check it out. Maybe you already have. Anyway, looking forward to this coming weekend. NFC Championship, AFC Championship. Really looking forward to that. Football season is coming to a close. It's kind of sad, but you know, life goes on, right? We always have our wine. Thanks for watching, and here's to keeping the snob out of wine.